The problem with publicly traded is that you have to be investor focused and then customers are your secondary. Because investors are like, where's my money? Where'd my money go? Where's my money? It's not revolutionary at all. It's just fun. And that's what games should be, but not a lot of them are. And so that's why the CES is not the Consumer Electronics Show anymore. It's the B2B AI bro electronics show now. Because that's what it all was. I don't know why people are saying Battlefield 2042 is better than Battlefield 6. Are you nuts? You guys have like memory wiped the whole development cycle of Battlefield 2042 plus the release cycle of it, where it basically was not functional for a couple of years because there was no cover. Why do we always do this? Every time a new one comes out, it's this one sucks. The last one was better. Welcome back to Digital Coffee Gaming Brew. I'm your digital barista, Brett Deister. We'll be diving into all the wild stuff from CES 2026, some spicy Discord IPO rumors, fresh updates from Schedule 1's new development team, and plenty of gaming news. From Battlefield 6 and Witcher 3 DLC teasers to the insanity around AI at CES. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and let's catch up on what's brewing in the gaming news this week. That's good. All right, so SanDisk has announced the rebranding of WD Black and WD Blue SSDs to the new SanDisk Optimus. Not to be confused with Optimus Prime, but just Optimus. They aren't even channeling the 80s feeling that they should challenge. But anyways, it's going to be coming soon. The rebranding includes changes to packaging and product designs with 3 new product lines: SanDisk Optimus, SanDisk Optimus GX, and SanDisk Optimus GX Pro. The Blue SN5 line is now under the SanDisk Optimus name, while the WD Black SN7 drives are now part of the SanDisk Optimus GX product line, and the SanDisk Optimus GX Pro line includes previously titled WD Black NS8 drives. The rebranding aims to signify the identification of products for consumers and stated by the VP of Global Consumer Brand and Digital Marketing at SanDisk. So basically what this is that a couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure, Western Digital decided to basically offload SanDisk and not focus on the NVMe's SSDs line and really focus on more of their hard drives. So previously, several years ago, Western Digital bought SanDisk for billions of dollars, and then they merged and they were doing all this stuff. And then Western Digital's like, we don't really want to do this anymore. We'd rather just spin it off, diversify that way. And with that means changes to the NVMe drives from Western Digital to back to SanDisk, because there's really no reason to keep on calling it Western Digital Black, Western Digital Blue, and all this other stuff. Pretty sure Western Digital is going to do their own thing with that stuff with their own HDD drives. It seems like they're going to be focused specifically on that. Then SanDisk is going to be specifically focused on more of the SSDs and NVMe's as they previously were. So this is just a rebranding and just updating their names to be coinciding with what is the reality of it. And that's really just what it is. They can say all the marketing gobbledygook they want to, but it's just basically, hey, we're not part of Western Digital anymore. These are new product lines. Figure it out. All right. So apparently at CES, Lexar has launched a new memory kit called Thor Z RGB DDR5 memory. Yes, companies actually launched a new, somewhat fast speed RAM. And it's probably going to be very expensive because, as we all know, RAM is very expensive right now. The memory kit has a capacity of 32 gigs of RAM because they probably don't want to go any further because it's just no one's buying that. No one's buying 32 gigs of RAM anyway. So good luck, Lexar. I feel like it's the wrong time to announce a release of RAM because of just how expensive it is. Or it's the right time if they price it competitively. The problem is I don't think it's going to be very competitive pricing. I think it's going to be very expensive. That's where we're at. It features a speed of 6,000 MTS and a CAS latency of CL36, so it's pretty fast supposedly. Memory kit supports Intel XMB 3.0 and AMD Expo. There are no details on availability or pricing. Yeah, because they probably don't want to tell you how much the price is because everybody's going to be like, we're good. Also, a very interesting thing is that the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X, remember, this is the 5800X. This is still on the AM4 platform, has outsold every CPU on Amazon Germany. There has been a significant increase in sales on the AM4 CPUs, particularly from the Zen 3 family. The Ryzen 7 5800X sold nearly 2,000 units last month. 40% of AMD CPUs sold are AM4 compatible chips because it's just cheaper and better to get the AM4 now than the AM5, because the AM5 you have to do the DDR5 RAM, and that's not cheap at all. So why not go with the other ones, which it's funny because it's indicative to what Nvidia and AMD has said during CES, which they said that they are going to be looking at resurrecting old hardware. And the funny part is that Nvidia's, yeah, we can use our DLSS and everything on the old hardware. And I'm like, wait a minute here. You are forcing us to buy the new stuff to get your new DLSS and new AI stuff to do it. But now you're like, no, we probably can do it with the old hardware too. And I'm like, so what's the point? I think now they're like, ooh, we can sell the old hardware and just use our AI to fake that it's actually pretty good for some odd reason. So I guess the moral of the story is keep your 1080 GPU around, because you may be able to actually play modern games with your 1080 GPU, and then keep your AM4 around, or your motherboard for your AM4, because they're going to be resurrecting AM4 processors again. You can't make this stuff up anymore. It's like, what's old is now new, and what's new is now old. I guess it's the motto now for the AI future is that old stuff will be cool and F AI. Basically is what it's saying. It's funny, really. And really depressing at the same time, because it's, look at the new shiny stuff. Oh, you can't afford the RAM or the GPU. But you can get a motherboard at a decent price. But wait, companies are going back and being like, you know what, we're going to resurrect the old AM4 product line now because everything is so expensive. So hold on to your AM4 CPUs, because you might as well do it that way. All right, moving on to Discord is reportedly exploring the possibility of going public, which it is. It has actually secretly filed an IPO. And this information has come from Bloomberg and a bunch of other things, but it looks like that they're looking to finally, well, go public, which for us gamers means we're going to be nickel and dime to death. They already are slowly starting to do it anyways with Nitro and everything else that they're trying to do. This was only the natural process of doing it, because you can't survive off investment funds all your life. But it's also not great, because then investors just expect you to always be profitable, even at the expense of user experience, because investors are not that smart about actual product development at all. They just care, oh, is the needle moving up? Oh, it's in the green. This must be a good product. And everybody's, yeah, can we please stop being like nickel and dime to death with all your predatory practices? No? All right, we're going to find something else, or someone else is going to make something new that's actually better than what you're actually doing. And then you're just going to die because we don't care anymore. It has happened every single time. Evernote used to be really good, and then all of a sudden it's not, because they started taking away features that were free and being like, pay us. And then they started upping the prices. And I'm like, I got other options now. And that's really going to happen with Discord, because Discord was number one because it was so user friendly and more towards the consumer side. The reason why Steam is so successful, it's not because of all the features and everything. That does help. It's because they're consumer focused. That is the pro of not being publicly traded. The problem with publicly traded is that you have to be investor focused, and then customers are your secondary. because investors are like, where's my money? Where'd my money go? Where's my money? Why isn't this making it more profitable? Why is this not in the green? Why are you in a downturn? It's because you wanted me to do all this stuff for profit, but it doesn't work for customers. It's why that the other digital stores are not doing very well, because they're not customer focused. The issue with investors is they don't understand that focusing on your customers first gives you a really big advantage to being profitable. Look at Epic. People only use Epic for the free games. They don't care about buying anything on there because it's terrible. It's a resource hog. It does nothing for you. Steam does everything for you because it actually cares about the customer, it cares about the customer experience. If you care about the customer experience, you'll do great. If you don't, you'll do good for a while, then you won't do good anymore. But that's the problem, is that they're not going to be customer focused anymore because their IPO's looming and they need to get the big money because their validation is billions and billions of dollars, which doesn't mean anything in the long term unless you're actually can maintain that billions and billions of dollars of validation. Validation is just a perceived notion of how investors perceive your profitability. That's it. It doesn't really mean anything. It's why it's always funny to me. It's, oh, our validation is this. I'm like, all right, how do your customers feel about your product? Because aren't they the ones you should care about? Not the validation of people that probably never use your product? No? All right, whatever. All right, so game developer Schedule One it's actually now a development studio. Yes, there's going to be more than one person doing the development of Schedule One, which Schedule One is still a great game. They have been steadily releasing stuff. They've released shrooms now, so now you can make and sell shrooms. Apparently I can't say that. But it's going to be interesting to see. I think they said it's going to be around 4 people. So it's not going to be a huge team, which is good. I think they still need to keep it small, but it's going to be around 4 people. And Schedule One took 2025 by storm. It was like an unknown game created by one person, and it's still pretty fun to play. They do need more features and make it more a feature complete game, but it was developed by one person that was in college. So you got to give him a little slack because he's not just full-time working on this. But the upcoming updates is going to be a new patch focused on bug fixes, quality of life improvements, and scheduled for release, with future updates expected in late February. The remainder of January will be focused on basically making sure the game runs well and optimized and the things you should be doing as a developer. So it should be interesting to see how well this does and what other things they'll be implementing as well, because I'm very interested. I still haven't installed, it's not that much on the hard drive, but I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with it, because it's one of those games that is interesting. It's not revolutionary at all. It's just fun. And that's what games should be, but not a lot of them are. And so that's why they fail. All right. So apparently in BlizzCon 2026, there may be supposedly, maybe it's a rumor, I'm not really quite sure, a new FPS game from Blizzard. Looks like it's going to be a third-person StarCraft shooter game. So think of Ghost. Maybe they resurrected Ghost. Maybe they figured out how to resurrect Ghost and make it good. I don't really know for sure, but supposedly it's going to be maybe launching, if that, because it's all rumors. So I'm saying all the supposedly, if, maybe, I'm not sure type of a thing, because that's really what it is. Also, maybe not sure quite. It could be Machine Gun Games is going to be making Wolfenstein 3, the one that they made previously, that the first 2 games were good. And then the third one that really wasn't the third one, but it was like a co-op shooter that really just didn't do very well. Well, there's that one that no one liked. New Blood or something like that. I don't remember the name of that one. But they're going to be making a mainline. I guess it's a mainline version of 3 with the original character. Maybe they can actually make it more masculine than the second one, because the second one was going off its rocker a little bit. But we'll see. They made Indiana Jones. It was pretty good, not bad, but we'll see what they do with this one. I'm not really that confident with what Microsoft's doing right now. They either come out with games that are mediocre or they shutter studios. And that's really the only main thing they're doing with the gaming division now. Oh, it's not working. That's cool. Or they're making Fable, which, man, that main character is ugly. And so that's just weird. The problem is with modern developers is that they're trying to make women men, and it's this hodgepodge of trans ideology that's trying to like permeate through these, where it's like Star Wars Outlaws, it was a woman and the woman actress looked pretty and then they made her ugly. Fable, I'm not sure what the motion capture actress is. Pretty sure she's pretty. They made ugly. Horizon Zero Dawn, actress, very pretty, makes them butch and ugly. Like, I don't understand this downward spiral of let's make all the women in video games ugly because feminism and trans ideology, which is probably the main reason why, but this is where we're at. So I don't know if I'm really that excited for their new showcase, but apparently there's a new showcase for Fable and Forza, which Forza's fine because it's just cars. And if you make cars ugly, you've got issues, which some of them are, granted. All right. So at CES, there was a slew of RTX 5090 cards being showcased, which nobody can buy anymore because they're going to be around $5,000 anyways. So yeah, let's just announce all these 5090 cars that no one can buy and nobody can get stock in for it, because that's the way of getting to customers. Hey, let's do this really expensive card that was already expensive and never really fell at MSRP ever, but let's make new ones that are never going to be close to MSRP, but they look really cool. We're also not going to tell you the price because then no one will buy them, but no one's going to buy them anyways. So the Gigabyte RTX 5090 Infinity cards and the ASUS 5090 Pro Arc cards are noted as the first custom design implemented Nvidia's dual flow through cooler design, which was introduced with the 5090 Founders card. This cooler design features a central PVC housing to the GPU memory and VRAM with heat drawn along the card's length and fans located at the both ends to push through the air through the cooler and out of the backplate. Gigabyte's design utilizes two large 120 millimeter fans for airflow through the heatsink. The Gigabyte card employs a two-tone color scheme similar to that of the Nvidia Founder cards, if you could ever find them. And the Inno 3D iChill RTX 5090 Frostbite Pro was also mentioned as a recently announced premium custom design. So, hey, look, we've got the 5090 cards and they have like really cool cooler designs. Everybody's like, yeah, I still can't buy them because they're $5,000. Or good luck trying to find any. Like, I don't really understand. It's the tone deaf of the Consumer Electronics show. Hey, let's showcase cards that most consumers can't buy because that's the way to consumers' heart. Hey, look, I know AI is taking like most of the share of VRAM, RAM, or anything associated with RAM away, but here's a really expensive card that you can't buy. That's the way to consumers. CES is not the Consumer Electronics show anymore. It's the B2B AI bro electronics show now. Because that's what it all was, which I'll get to in a minute. All right, moving on to Projekt Red is supposedly, maybe it's mostly imminent, kind of sort of a DLC for The Witcher 3. Supposedly this may actually be a new whole area, desert area, and that's all we really know about it. But it's definitely maybe, I'm pretty certain, maybe, I don't know, really, it's a rumor going to be coming out. I'm only saying all that stuff because it's a rumor and I don't really know for sure if these are true or not. And if it's true, it's great because The Witcher 3 is still one of the best RPG games known so far. We got Expedition 33 is good. We got Baldur's Gate 3, but they're all very different from each other. So I would say The Witcher 3 is a really good open world RPG. Expedition 33 is a really good turn-based RPG. And Baldur's Gate 3 is a really good isometric RPG or CRPG, I think as they call it. So, like I said, they're all really good in their own respective subgenres within the genre of RPGs. And so I'm all for this. I think this is a good idea. I'm wondering how much it's going to cost, because I'm pretty sure if this expansion is going to be big, it's going to be probably around $30-ish, maybe $40. But I'm interested to see what this actually is going to do. All right, moving on to Battlefield 6. Yes, we've all been talking about Battlefield 6 as it's lost, quote unquote, 86 or 89% of its player base. Now, mind you, that's over 80% of its player base from the 700,000 players that was from launch. It is now around 100 to 80-ish K players, and the 80K players is more of off-peak times, which is still a healthy player base. Now, there is issues with Battlefield 6. I will not lie to you about that one. And the main issue is that the big maps don't feel big. And that's probably the biggest issue, because a lot of Battlefield players, especially the old school one, want big maps. Firestorm, I will say this, is still the best map from the vanilla ones. The other ones are okay. They're not great for big maps. The small maps are fine, but I don't really like small maps that much, but there's a lot of them. I think we're talking about new maps. Liberation is probably the best of the new maps, and that's not saying a lot, because I'm like begrudgingly saying it's okay. Now, we know season 2 is coming out soonish, this month at least, and we should be getting some old maps, because I hate to say it, but old school Blizzard knew how to make maps. They don't really know how to make maps. And that's the issue, the big maps. I think the small maps are pretty good at, but that's because a lot of them came from Call of Duty, and Call of Duty, it's just all about the small maps. My main issue is the big maps. So like Firestorm could have been good if they kept to the old school way of doing it. They didn't. They changed things around, which I didn't really like that much. That's why people don't like it as much. But I say it's the best of the bunch of the vanilla maps, because all the vanilla maps aren't that good. They're okay. And so if you get a lot of mediocre, okay maps, the old school one's going to feel great out of all of them. And yeah, people complain that there's long sight lines for Firestorm, but that's why you have 2 different lanes. From E to D, that's where the snipers can have their fun. And then from C, B, and A, this is where there's a lot of cover and you can get around it. Plus you have a lot of tanks. But I think it should have been pulled back more to the original way of doing it. And you should let the opposing team from the hill. So you have the hill from the... So it looks like the US side never really changed the map location. The Russian or whatever, or PAX or whatever side, but the Russian side from the original map had a hill too, and it was a little bit more covered. And I feel like they shrunk it a little bit to make sure the gameplay was more lively. I don't really know for sure, but I feel like they should readjust that one to make it from the original of what it was. I feel like a lot of times they try to quote unquote improve these maps, and it's stop improving them. They're good for a reason. I still want to see Caspian Border. Still think it's a great map. I still want to see Gulf of Oman, Strike at Kirkhand. There's a lot of them. Siege of Shanghai was always a good one as well. There's a lot of good ones from the old school like maps. Wake Island's going to come back apparently. I don't know why Metro... You guys, I swear, Metro is the worst map I've ever seen, but you all love it because you get a lot of points from it. Let's just be honest. It's not a good map. I think the best version of Metro is Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 had the best version of it. Battlefield 3 was the worst version of it. Battlefield 4 was a little bit better, and Battlefield 5 was the better version of it because there were more ways to get around it. The problem with Battlefield 3 version is that there were only 3 ways to go, and you were all funneled into one point, and it was the middle point, and it was very annoying, and I always hated it, especially with Operation Footlocker. Hated that one too. I know that's going to come back, but the old school maps like Dragon Valley is another good one they should redo. I think the Grand Bazaar, that one from Battlefield 3, they should redo. There's some really good ones from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 that they should think about coming back with, or learn from the big maps. Learn from the big maps from the old school ones, because that will tell you how to make good big maps. Not from Battlefield 2042. I don't know why people are saying Battlefield 2042 is better than Battlefield 6. Are you nuts? You guys have like memory wiped the whole development cycle of Battlefield 2042 plus the release cycle of it, where it basically was not functional for a couple years because there was no cover. Battlefield Friends is the best way of saying it, like cover here, last cover for the next like 100 miles or something like that, but it just was there was never any like good cover. So I can see why people are mad about Battlefield 6 right now, because initially it launched really good. You cannot say that it was not optimized. It was optimized very well. I will give them credit for that, because I have never seen a Battlefield game as optimized as Battlefield 6. I don't care what anybody else says. It was very well optimized from a AAA studio. Because every other time DICE has released a Battlefield game, it has not been optimized. It has been terrible for the most part. There have been some. Battlefield 1 was pretty good. Battlefield 4 was not. It took about a year and a half for them to fix the issues with Battlefield 4. Battlefield 3 was okay. Battlefield 2, as I remember, was good-ish. Battlefield 5 had issues. Battlefield 2042 just didn't have a scoreboard or a lot of other things. And then you got Battlefield 6. Now everybody's going, oh, I love Battlefield 2042. And I'm like, are you nuts? Why do we always do this? Every time a new one comes out, it's this one sucks. The last one was better. And I'm like, do you not remember how terrible it was? Are you memory holding it again? And apparently a lot of people do that. But from what I've seen, it's around 80-ish thousand players playing during off-peak times, and it goes around 100,000 players during on-peak times. It's still not bad. I wouldn't be sounding the alarm right now. If it starts to go down, dip down to 50K during off-peak and like under 100,000 during on-peak times, then we probably should be sounding the alarm. I do think RedSec did not help. Interesting game mode. I think it really did the best it could do for a Battlefield-like Battle Royale, but I just think that they're a little too late on it. I don't think people are liking Battle Royales as much as the streamers are saying. Even the streamers don't play it that much anymore. So you have to disregard a lot of their thing about it, like Battle Royale. No. You should really focus on the main core game, make that really good, and maybe figure out as an extraction type game, even though those are getting overdone. I don't really know. Battlefield's got to figure it out. DICE has got to figure it out. It's unfortunate that Vince is no longer with us, and that's really unfortunate, but they've got to figure it out. They got to have leadership team to carry on the vision, and they've got to figure it out. All right, moving on to the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Fallout event. Yes, that's right. The collaboration of collaborations. Because Fallout is so popular for the TV show, and it's actually pretty good, Call of Duty decided that it really needed to do something about it. So they have decided to make their version of it through Call of Duty. So there's new maps, new skins. There's a paid pass is required to unlock Maximus and the Ghoul. So the coolest character of the Ghoul on the show, and you have to pay for it. Yeah, it's about $10 for the paid pass, which is not bad, but unfortunately no one plays Call of Duty as much anymore, and Black Ops 7 has not been doing well. It's been doing worse than Battlefield 6, even though all the COD players are like, oh my God, Battlefield 6 is terrible now. And I'm like, look at the Steam users that are playing Battlefield 6 as opposed to Call of Duty Black Ops 7, it's still double. So we'll see how well this goes. I think the collaborations need to go away from Call of Duty for a while, and I think they need to focus on making a good game. I don't think they're making a good game. I think they're too focused on the skins and all that other stuff, and they're not focused on what makes Call of Duty, because I feel like they've lost that it's not as good as it used to be. And players and gamers know about it. Of course, there's always going to be people that buy it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy it. I'm not going to be that person that you shouldn't buy the game because I said so. No, but it's gone down in quality. And I do think that the yearly releases does not help the quality. I think it hurts the quality. I think it dilutes the quality because you're not really innovating anything. I think they need to start doing 2-year, like, not every year releasing a Call of Duty, like skip a year and just elongate the season passes. That's where your money comes from anyways. Might as well just do it that way. But the player base needs to have a yearly release. But do we really need the Madden of FPS games? I don't think we do. I know EA was like, yeah, we're going to start doing that. I'm like, you start doing that, EA? No one's going to buy Battlefield either. Stop. Like, for the love of God. Anyways, moving on to the AI hangover has begun. That's right. CES 2026 came and went, and oh boy, was it all about AI. Oh boy. Yay. More AI that I could ever use or want to use or care about using, or I don't know. It's a lot. It was a lot. AMD's little event was basically 99% AI. And oh, by the way, we're going to be releasing a new CPU, the 9850X3D, but we're only going to give about 2 seconds worth of coverage because look, AI will change the way you see the world. And I'm like, sure. Yeah. And AI will tell me a lot of misleading things too, just like humans. So what's the point? It's gotten insane. It's gotten so bad that I use it as a tool, but seriously, can we stop with AI this and AI that? And look, it's like the new trendy word, AI. I'll just slap AI somewhere. Oh, look, it's an AI fan. Well, is it a smart fan? No, it's AI. All right. Does it turn on and work? Sure. So what is an AI? Like, I just think they just slap it on everywhere now because they think everybody wants AI. And it's like, we enjoy AI. We enjoy how it will help us, but we don't want it in everything. There are some things that's fine that AI is not a part of. I don't need Razer's little weird avatar in a glass tube thing, which, by the way, I looked at to see if I could actually see the price of it. And the only thing it gave me, I had to sign in, first of all, to my account because they wouldn't allow you to even look at it. And it's reserve it for $20. I'm like, so it's not $20. So it's probably around $100 and something or more. And then I looked at the video and it's like talking to me. I'm like, this is too weird. I'm good. Like, I was already turned off by it, but I was like, who is this made for? It was like all these different scenarios. And the gaming one was like, oh, you should do this. You should do that. I'm like, I would tell that AI avatar to shut up. Let me play the game. I don't know why it was, you should do this. Oh, dodge. Oh, strife. Oh, I was like, oh God, shut up. It's like backseat driver for your like gaming experience. It would be hell. I know we all make mistakes, but that would be hell. I'd unplug it. I'm like, nope. I don't need someone talking in my ear. Or make sure I have noise canceling headphones so I'll never hear it again. I don't know who this is made for. I don't know why. It was just weird. I think the really only cool thing, even though expensive, was the Corsair Elgato keyboard. And this is mainly for like people in content creation or streaming because you have, instead of the numlock, they created like a little mini, a smaller like Elgato thing. It's expensive. It's $350. I'm not saying that everybody should go out and buy it, but for those that actually use it for like sound and a bunch of other things, it's actually quite useful. And they didn't say AI anywhere. They're just like, look, we combined our technologies together to make this cool keyboard. I'm like, finally, something that actually looks cool and it's not AI this and AI that. And I'm pretty sure I was half expecting someone to come up with an AI keyboard that you talk to, or your mouse is AI. So it like aims for you or something like that. I was half expecting one of those weird, crazy things. But no, that was like the coolest thing that I saw. They had mices that they did, but it had some value to it. It was a utility type of device that allowed you to control things that you could do through macros. I'm not saying you can't, but at least it gave you a more visual way of controlling things. That was useful. Every AI thing that AMD announced was not useful. I was like, who is this for? It's a consumer electronics show. This isn't the business electronics show. Maybe you should make it BES instead and then use it there. But it was like AI this, AI that. Nvidia did the same thing. And then they were like, oh, we're going to resurrect old stuff because we created the chaos that is the RAM prices. AI is supposed to be useful for efficiency. It's not supposed to take care of everything for you. And if you're doing that, I have serious concerns for you. And maybe you should stop using AI so much. But this reminds me of the social media boom in the 2010-ish era where Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them were coming out. Then you had Snapchat, Pinterest. You had a ton of social media sites sprouting up all over. And then all of a sudden they all died or were bought out. And now we don't hear as much of social media sites popping up because it's too expensive, too hard to get customers, and you have to have a new, like, interesting thing, but also you have to have the people to show up. And so that's why you don't have it. That's why Blue Sky is failing. That's why X is still doing well. Facebook's still doing well. YouTube is still doing well. Rumble is trying, but they're still in the more right-leaning politics, and that's their bread and butter. And they have gaming, but I just don't think it's converting. And so if you don't have like other things that aren't politics, it's not going to work because I don't go to YouTube for just politics. I go to YouTube to figure out how to do things sometimes or to check out a new product. Now, if you're on Rumble and you decide to do that, that might be a smart strategy in case YouTube decides to do what YouTube does and screw you over. But I'm frankly sick and tired of hearing AI everywhere. I use it, yes. I do not deny that I don't use it. I do use it. I use it for efficiency. I use it to help speed things up. But I don't want to hear about it every single time. I don't care about it infecting every single piece of my life. It's not useful that way. It's useful for work and to research things or to start researching things. But that's really about it. I don't ask it for advice because that's weird. I don't need to ask it for advice because it's not really living. It's synthetic. So, for the love of God, AMD, Intel, Nvidia, Razer, stop with the AI everything. I'm now getting a headache from AI overload. It's just too much. Enough. Get back to making great products for people. That's all you need to do. We're sick and tired of AI everywhere, and we're all waiting for the AI bubble to burst because finally we'll have a sigh of relief from all this. Anyways, what do you think? Do you think I'm way off? Do you love AI? You're like rah AI bro, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. But thank you for listening to Digital Coffee. Really do appreciate it. As always, please subscribe to this podcast and enjoy the games you want to enjoy and leave AI behind, and see you next week. Later. It's not going to work because I don't go to YouTube for just politics. I go to YouTube to like figure out how to do things sometimes or to check out a new product. Now, if you're on Rumble and you decide to do that, that might be a smart strategy in case YouTube decides to do what YouTube does and screw you over. But I'm frankly sick and tired of hearing AI everywhere. I use it, yes. I do not deny that I don't use it. I do use it. I use it for efficiency. I use it to help speed things up. But I don't want to hear about it every single time. I don't care about it infecting every single piece of my life. It's not useful that way. It's useful for work and to research things or to start researching things. But that's really about it. I don't ask it for advice because that's weird. I don't need to ask it for advice because it's not really living. It's synthetic. So, For the love of God, AMD, Intel, Nvidia, Razer, stop with the AI everything. I'm now getting a headache from AI overload. It's just too much. Enough. Get back to making great products for people. That's all you need to do. We're sick and tired of AI everywhere, and we're all waiting for the AI bubble to burst because finally we'll have a sigh of relief from all this. Anyways, what do you think? Do you think I'm way off? You love AI? You're like rah AI bro, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. But thank you for listening to Digital Coffee. Really do appreciate it. As always, please subscribe to this podcast and enjoy the games you want to enjoy and leave AI behind. And see you next week. Later.